Good morning, everyone. This is your host, Gemma Putty, bringing vibrant living conversations from North Idaho and across this region. I'm so excited to chat with entrepreneurs, creatives, and believers as we journey together to connect more deeply to ourselves, our earth, and our communities. Today, I get to talk with Anna Wyatt of Yogastey out of Spokane, Washington. I first met Anna at an outdoor market earlier in 2020 and was just totally attracted to the brand, to health and beauty products, of course, but the fact that this also had CBD in it. And it's been this trendy thing that's been added to products, but I just don't know a lot about it. So I saw that as an avenue to reach out to Anna, and she was more than excited to come and chat with me today. So Anna, thank you so much for joining me. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm truly honored and blessed. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. I'm excited. We chatted a little bit before I recorded, and I'm sad I didn't record that because I can tell that we're already going to be friends. So tell me a little bit, Anna, about your journey to Yogastey, like how kind of your background and where you are today.
Yay. So not to go too far back, but when I did graduate from high school, I did go to cosmetology school. And I did cosmetology for about 7 years.
Oh, nice.
And loved the instant gratification of it and loved empowering women and men to feel the best about themselves.
Right.
But didn't necessarily really fit in. It wasn't feeling my boat, if that makes sense.
No,
and
for
so
sure.
Right. And so from that point, I career hopped, and, you're in your 20s and
Right.
you're just having fun. But fast forward to about 6 years ago, I quit my very professional and corporate banking job. I wasn't anyone super important, but it just, again, wasn't filling my boat. And I took a humongous leap of faith, and I dropped off a resume at our local cannabis shop down in Clarkston, Washington on a whim, kind of internally thinking my family is going to think I'm nuts, and they're going to, oh great, you're getting into drugs and all of this stuff. And I was hired on the spot.
Oh, nice.
And and I started as a stalker. That's kind of how it was.
Right.
I was there for about a year, and then I heard a rumor that a Sativa Sisters in Clarkston, Washington was going to be opened. And so I inquired. They were very interested, just with my unique ability of managing an inventory that is kind of hard to manage, especially when the state's involved,
Right.
you have to do it the right way.
Right.
And within 6 months, I was the general manager of that store. And then I had my little girl, and then my spouse, he's a bicycle mechanic. Okay. And he wanted to make the jump to Spokane because the bike community up here is phenomenal. There's so much to do for your kids and for your adults, and cycling and mountain biking. And so I'm like, all right, we'll move. That sounds fun.
Supportive wife, right?
Yeah, of course. He supported my dreams for so long. So I'm like, we're going to go. And that's when I was given the amazing opportunity to help co-own, help develop, and found Yogastey. And it kind of just went hand in hand with what I was previously doing. I just now get to put my passion into creating, which is definitely filling my boat. I enjoy it. Yes.
Well, you got so much education, I'm sure, by working at the 2 cannabis stores beforehand, right? It set that framework.
Yes. And Sativa Sisters, what I really loved about them is that they enabled me to get medically certified. So there's a state program where you can get a medical certification with marijuana. So that kind of might have been, looking back on it, might have triggered the passion of learning.
Right.
Because they go into depth about cannabinoids and CBD and THC and all the different avenues of how they help you internally, topically, and just all the ailments that they potentially could help with.
Oh my gosh. I love that. That's,
yeah.
I think, I mean, as we talked about, as cannabis has become legal and there's still that stigma attached, right? But going and getting that training that is like breaking down the pieces and what this is good for and what this is good for, and then educating and turning it around and showing people that it's not just you're a druggie. There is like valid and legitimate health. So will you get more? I honestly am such a rookie at knowing, I mean, even the benefits of cannabis. And then of course you're just taking the CBD for your products at Yogastey. I'll let you cover that as little or as much as you want to go into it, but specifically the CBD, of course, since that's what's in your current products.
Yes. So CBD is 100% federally legal. It was legalized in 2018 under the Farm Bill Act. There's the main guideline is it has to contain less than 3% THC.
Okay.
That's what
and THC is the stimulant part that, right?
It's the mind altering psychedelic, but not really psychedelic, but yes, it can alter your state of mind. It will give you more of a mind high. And CBD is the cannabinoid that you consume that is going to help with inflammation. It's going to help when you ingest it internally, inflammation, minor aches and pains. It normalizes. So it's an agent that you can consume, and say you have some sort of something in your body that's off balanced, either it could like a mineral imbalance or a vitamin imbalance. CBD is going to go in and help normalize and re-regulate your internal system. Get everything functioning how it should be. And the reason why it is even able to do that is we all have an endocannabinoid system.
Right.
And that's what the CBD works with, that enables it to work within your body.
Okay. So we start with like backing way up. We start with the plant.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
And then the process, I mean, do you know the process that it's going through before that, because it's CBD isolate specifically that you're using in your products, right?
Yes. So my basic understanding when it comes to like hemp compared to marijuana, when you have a marijuana plant, you have to make sure that you're only dealing with a female plant. And I'm going to try and keep it as simple as possible because I don't really want to get anyone super confused. But you have this plant and you make sure that the male plant's taken away and it produces the trichomes and the flower and the bud. But when it comes to industrial hemp, my understanding is it's the same plant. You just let a male and a female plant cross-pollinate, and it no longer is going to produce a marijuana plant, if that makes sense. Because there is an art form in farming when it comes to both ends of it. And so I use CBD isolate. So the hemp is grown, and then it is broken down and processed into a CBD isolate.
Which then has none of the THC.
Yes. And my CBD isolate comes out of Colorado. Another very fascinating thing that is you have to keep in mind with hemp is it's a phenomenal plant in itself. Even if you take the CBD out of it, it's a bioaccumulator. So that's why it's so important to find CBD that is clean and pure, because depending on where you plant it, that's what's going to show. It's going to absorb everything out of that soil, all the nutrients, all the heavy metals and impurities. So if you If you somehow were buying products from CBD products that were from a company that didn't really do much research on where they're getting their CBD from, you risk consuming elevated levels of heavy metals, which is arsenic and nickel and lead, and they naturally occur in the soil, but you still don't want to internally or topically ingest them in large quantities.
Right. Yeah.
And that's why when it comes to the CBD market, finding a company that you trust and that their mission is creating a pure product is really important, because it is legal, but it's not federally regulated yet.
I see. And I think even with things that are federally regulated, it's there's very easy to put labels on things that say one thing, even though that's maybe not the truth, right? So it's knowing your source is like a common theme that I'm coming across, is finding your person that's passionate about what they're doing. And I mean, obviously you've done the research to find out, where are these plants growing? What's the soil that they're coming out of?
Right. Well, and with it not being regulated, people don't really think about all the efforts that go into agricultural productions in general, but the FDA is very much involved. They're testing your soil, they're testing your groundwater, your wells, everything. And I don't think that anyone's really doing that when it comes to hemp production yet. And so that's why, like you said, finding your source, we want to be ahead of the curve.
Right.
I'm not even worried about the FDA coming in and regulating CBD, because I already have implemented standards that are probably, like you said, going to be higher than what they're going to implement themselves.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome.
So, and that's probably when we'll see CBD, some companies trickle out, is when their feet are finally being held to the fire, and they're going to have to finally prove that they're providing a pure product. A lot of times, like you said, some people find themselves buying CBD product and they're like, it's not working, and they have this false sense of it's the CBD's fault, when in all reality the company isn't even putting CBD in the product.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And so it's very difficult to find trustworthy sources and companies. And that's kind of Yogastey's main mission, is to not only provide a phenomenal product, but to give you the peace of mind that every time you use it, you are using a clean product with minimal ingredients, with quality CBD. Our skin's our largest organ. The last thing you want to be doing is putting all these artificial chemicals and preservatives on it.
Right, for sure.
You want to have peace of mind knowing that if you were to put it on your child, that they're not going to get a rash,
Right, yeah, exactly.
Now, I don't want to get sick on anything. So.
Right. So is the CBD coming to you in liquid form?
No, so CBD isolate is a powder.
Okay.
So it's a white powder, and then I infuse it with my carrier agent. So depending on what the product is, a lot of times I'll infuse it in like the oil. And that's just it's like a low heat, long time process. And then once that oil's infused, then you send it off to testing. And once it tests out correctly, then you base it on your recipe. So then you go into, my recipe makes this many units. So this is how much CBD I'm going to need for each, for making 10 units, and I need to make sure they all have 250 milligrams. So I need to base that main tincture off of that.
I see. Because that's when I was even looking at your website when I was buying things, there was options to have 100 or 250 or 500 as far as the potency even went, right? So that's what you mean when you send it off to be tested, is tested to see how strong it is and if it's lining up with what you need it to be for what you're making.
Yes. So a lot of times what will happen is, and I want to say I probably do it quarterly, if not more, especially depending on if I'm launching. When I'm launching a new product, testing, I spend a lot of money on testing just because I'd rather work out all the kinks before we even launch a product.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not trying to make you guys my guinea pigs by any means. But I'll test that immediate tincture that I made, and then I'll even go as far as sending an item out of the batch that I've made. So say I make a big batch, I will send that finalized product, one out of each, to get tested, just to make sure, because it takes a simple thing as, you know, the salve being cooked on too high of a heat might dilute a little bit of the CBD.
I see. Okay.
So just with the multiple testing just ensures that by the time you get to a market or a store or you buy it online, you're getting exactly what's advertised and what you're expecting.
I love that.
And it's also going to ensure that if you say you buy a salve off my online store, but then you go and you find it at a CBD shop, regardless of where you're buying it, you should get the same reaction, the same scent, the same feeling every single time.
Perfect. Yes, that's nice to know too, because I mean, you're a smaller shop right now, but it's like you were doing your due diligence to make sure that everything is consistent, and we appreciate that.
Thank you. Yes. I think about like, oh, what happens if I grow so much where I'm going to need help? Because as of now, I make and do everything myself, and it does give me a little bit of anxiety because I don't know if it's because I'm a mom now or a small business owner, but I have control issues. I'm like, how am I going to make sure and implement? And honestly, it's an integrity thing. Like if you're going to be working with or for Yogastey, you are going to have to 100% follow the same passion and drive.
Yeah.
We're not going to cut corners anywhere because people see it. I mean, we're consumers.
Right.
We not buy cheap things because corners are being cut.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. And it's why we come to local people too, that we know we're doing a great job, right? To look after our health so that we are getting consistency. So I feel like we should dive into what your products are. You've got a variety of things.
Yeah.
Starting with the salves, which is the first thing I bought, because I bought one for my little brother. He was not so little, but hi Dan. I got him the peppermint one, and then I ended up buying myself the lemongrass one.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll let you elaborate on what else you have to offer.
Yeah, so I have the men's line. I have an aftershave, which is absolutely phenomenal. So another random cool fact about CBD is it's an antimicrobial. So when a man shaves their face, the main reason why they use an aftershave is they're wanting to not only sanitize that surface, but they're very quickly wanting that pore to tighten back up. Anytime our pores are left open, they absorb everything and anything. All the pollutants in the air, they're going to absorb anything that you're going to touch to your face, blue light, everything. So the aftershave has 200 milligrams of CBD, and you just apply it when you're done shaving, and it shrinks up that pore, sanitizes that surface. It has a little bit of aloe vera gel in it, so it's going to moisturize it a little bit too. It also, CBD, with it having all the anti-inflammatory purposes, it's going to take out all that redness. So it's going to eliminate the razor burn that you potentially could get randomly.
Perfect.
We all experience it. Yeah. And the cool thing about the aftershave is that it is unisex. So I use it as a facial toner.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So cool.
I love it.
And so then we have a beard serum that's just going to go in and help moisturize the coarse hair on your face. And also I've heard a lot of men say that they love their beards, but the skin underneath their beard gets neglected. So this oil is going to go in and it's going to help. It's jojoba oil. It also has rosemary oil in it, bergamot and white fir. So it has a very masculine, a lot of women love the smell too.
I was about to say, I generally love all the men's scents more than the female scents.
Yes, exactly. It's going to go in and it's going to moisturize the hair and the skin underneath. It's going to eliminate dandruff, which is very common with men's beards. It also is going to absorb quickly. So it's not going to leave your beard shiny. I think that that's what men are so, they want to take care of it. They love their beards and they want to take care of them. But at the same time, they're not wanting to smell like flowers, and they're sure the heck not wanting to have a shiny, glittery beard all day.
Right.
And so the jojoba oil absorbs very quickly, has minimal shine, moisturizes, and then that CBD is going to promote hair growth, moisturizing, restoring that pH balance, all that fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Would you put it even then on, like, could I put it on the ends of my hair?
Yes, and it could be a scalp treatment. It's another unisex product.
Fabulous. I'm loving, even with this shaving, like I've been experimenting with dermaplaning and I'm like, what is this doing to my skin? So I might need some of that stuff as well.
Yes, most definitely. You'll love it because, like you said, what's it doing to my skin? The CBD is also going to promote cell regeneration.
Ooh.
So yes, so every body's different, of course, but statistically speaking, women and men, their cells quit regenerating rapidly around 30. Our collagen production is lowered. And so anything that's going to promote cell regeneration is going to fight all the signs of aging, fine lines and wrinkles, sunspots, age spots, all that fun stuff.
I've definitely been in that in my mid-30s. I'm suddenly like, oh, those wrinkles are a little deeper than they used to be. Like,
I know.
But I mean, it's the beauty of aging at the same time. But if there's products out there that can support my skin as it's stopping to do what it was before, I'm like, I'm all for it, you know?
Right. I'm not trying to freeze myself in time. I'm just trying to just promote graceful aging.
Exactly.
You know?
Well said. Yes.
And then we have the bath bombs, which is what you were kind of talking about with the options of the 500 milligrams and the 100 milligrams. Right. Our bath bombs are very, very popular. Men and women absolutely love them. It's a really great way if you're looking to just get an all-over relief. My family's semi-active. We ride bikes a lot. We ski a lot. So I shouldn't say semi, we're pretty active.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just nice to sit in a tub and just help all the aches and pains. I garden. So simply being hunched over, you know, for 45 minutes weeding or just, you know, your hobbies. It's really nice way. And I'm surprised at how many blue collar men who have laborious jobs love them. They're like, you know what? I never took baths, but it's worth it when I can get out and I can climb into bed and I can just feel like I'm floating on a cloud.
Right. Like your whole body. I mean, that's the only way that you can like actually have that happen, right? Put it in the bathtub. I love that. Plus you're also a mom, like chasing a 2-year-old around. Like that's enough said right there.
I'm like, why do you have so much energy?
Right? It's good for us, right?
I made it happy, but at the same time, I should have done this younger.
I hear you. But you have the products that will keep us going. I love it.
Exactly. And the great thing about it too is with it being industrial hemp, it's still safe for children. So having a 2-year-old and she rides her bikes, she loves it. She also, you know, is an adrenaline junkie, just like her father. And so there's been times where I've cut a bath bomb in half and I popped it in there because she tumbled down something, or, you know, and just their bodies grow so fast too. Right, I mean, rapid development, they ache. They just don't know that they ache. Right. So it's really phenomenal to see how they act after a nice soak that we enjoy too. And it's 100% safe. You know, there's nothing in it that's gonna affect your child. Now, I mean, if you have sensitive skin, right, you might want to dabble, but again, it's all organic and it's essential grade essential oil or therapeutic grade essential oils are the scent in this. There's no artificial chemicals in it. So even people that do have sensitive skin
Right.
usually feel very confident and secure using Yogastey products.
I love that because I've been looking at, like, we went through a phase of needing Epsom salts, right? To like, we were using them in the bath, but some of them that you buy that have lavender or whatever, but then you look on the back and it says fragrance, which basically translates into toxic.
Yeah.
And it's like, you've got your Epsom salts, but they've been added the perfume, or however you want to say it in the French, right? And it's that smell that makes you sick to your stomach, but that's not natural. Like,
No.
buy some CBD or buy plain essential or Epsom salts and just put your own therapeutic grade essential oil in it, right?
Right, exactly. And the thing is how much fragrance did they put in that to soak into, you know, because you open those bags and it's like overwhelming.
Right.
But when you use quality essential oils, a couple drops is usually all you need. You're
Right.
not bathing in it. And it just goes to show that when you invest in quality and not necessarily quantity, it lasts longer,
Oh, for
because
sure.
you're not using nearly as much
Right.
in
Yeah.
the long run.
Right, for sure. Oh, sweet. And then you have chapstick, is that right?
Yes, lip balm, which I love my lip balm because I designed it for obviously a lip balm. It has vitamin E oil, which again promotes cell regeneration. So it helps with cracked lips, dry lips, chapped lips. But you know, you blow your nose too much, I'll put it on my nose if my nose is chapped. If
Genius.
my cuticles crack, I'll put it on my cuticles. It's honestly a topical agent that you can put anywhere. It's just in a vessel that's easily applied to your lips.
That's well said, because it is. It's like, oh, it just fits in your pocket, but you could put it on your hands or anywhere, like you were saying.
Right. And say
Yeah.
you're camping and the little one gets a bug bite or you get a bug bite, put it on there. It'll relieve that itch. And I like it better than cortisone cream because you have all these anti-itch things that we used to use in the past, and you put them on and then within like 5 minutes you're itching again. And CBD is
Right.
absolutely phenomenal because it takes all the inflammation out, and it's helping, you know, the healing process. It's not just putting a band-aid over it.
Right.
So it's just really great to have in like you said, your purse, your back pocket, your car, a diaper bag, because it can virtually be used on anything.
For multiple purposes. Now,
Yeah.
you have also like dog treats and oils on your website. Are they, because I saw that you have, is it the Amsterdam Coffee Club? Is that a partnership that you have with a different group?
So that's kind of how Yogastey came about, is through ACC, because we realized in like legally CBD did not fall under the regulations of THC, and that's kind of was our wormhole in the state of Washington. That was our way to wiggle in to provide CBD agents that weren't attached to the cannabis shop. But with doing that is how we found all these irregular products that we were having. When I was GMing, I was having customers that were really, they're like, hey, I bought this, and then, you know, it doesn't work anymore. And so that's really what fueled the testing aspect and testing all these products and realizing that, holy crap, there's like all these impure products on the market.
Interesting.
And so ACC is a white label through them that I do sell, but I'm extremely excited to announce that come February, Yogastey will have our own tinctures that I'll be making.
Exciting. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. And with that too, making our own tinctures and going through that process, it makes the product so much more affordable. So instead of going out to a reputable CBD company who tests out great, you're spending more because it's going through so many levels, you know, the middleman, the main, you know, the
right. Yeah, for sure. And like being shipped all over the place probably too,
yes.
right?
So I was doing the pricing on it and going over the recipe and the cost of goods, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so excited come February because I'm going to be able to provide a tincture that has a price point that everyone can appreciate.
Oh, I
It's
love
going to
that.
be made with our pure CBD isolate. It's going to be organic and clean, and just again that price point to get it into people's hands that need it, who can't
Right.
afford to spend $65 on a tincture.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
that's astronomical. The whole point
Right.
of CBD and the holistic aspects of it is it's affordable. It's affordable pain relief that isn't through a pharmaceutical company. You're not paying to get someone else rich. You're paying for your own health and your own peace of
Yes.
mind.
Oh,
So,
that's so awesome. Would you
yeah.
use CBD oil even instead of like an Aleve or an ibuprofen, or
Yes,
is down to that
yes,
level? Okay.
most definitely. So, the peppermint salve is a prime example. My time is split pretty 50-50. I'm in the kitchen a lot, creating and making and infusing. But a large part of running a business is in front of a computer. And
Right.
I'll find myself halfway through a day feeling so much tension, and you can feel that tension headache starting.
For
That
sure.
peppermint salve, I put it on my neck, my muscles within 10 minutes have relaxed, and all that tension and the start of that headache is completely relieved. Uh,
Love it.
Yes. And then a CBD tincture is going to be the same thing, except you are going to ingest it internally. So I love doubling down. I love taking a tincture. I take it daily, and then I use my topical agents throughout the day to help prevent. And you probably have experienced this yourself. The more you pay attention to what your body's telling you, the more preventative measures you can take, as simple as drinking
Right.
water and hydrating yourself. And then you tap on, a tincture and a salve. You can almost eliminate ibuprofen and Tylenol completely out of your regimen, or
Yeah.
out of your daily usage.
It's, well, I did something to my rib. I don't know what it was. And I was like, usually I'm
Mm,
fine, but I was having trouble sleeping, and I'd
yeah.
gotten my order of your products, the salve and the oil. And I just started doing both. I'm like, this can't hurt me,
Yeah.
is this really what is solved my problem here? And I didn't do anything else that would have, helped. So I'm a believer.
Yay.
Is it
I
true
know.
that it needs to build up in your system before someone told me that the other day, and I was like, I don't really know what that means.
No. So, to my knowledge and the education that I've received and the research that I've done, that that's not the case.
Okay.
Um, you have an endocannabinoid system, and it's going to engage and work as soon as you consume a CBD product. Now, what they may have been saying is everybody's different. So you might find relief taking your 100 milligram tincture, and
Right.
they might need to take a 500 milligram tincture. And it's all based on how much pain you personally are experiencing. We all have our own pain tolerance levels.
Right.
And everybody's different. And that's the great and beautiful thing about CBD is you are not a number to some doctor. You aren't your height and weight, and you're a female of this age, so we're going to give you this prescription. You
Right.
get to really go in and assess how you're feeling, what you want to take, how you want to take it, and you really get to take your health into your own hands. And you get
Yes.
to experiment. Like, this tincture took the edge off, but I feel like I need a little bit more. So you can go and take more product. You're not going to get sick. You're not going to get so lethargic where you can't, drive a car. You're
Right.
not going to OD. Like,
Right.
all of those very scary things that come when we start dabbling in more serious pain relief
Right. For
option.
sure. No, for sure. Oh, well said on all of that. I love it. And
Thank you.
I mean, we talked about kids, men, women, of course. So pets it probably works on them like it does us, right?
Yes, yes. So it's CBD for pets. They're not going to get high. There's no THC in it. A lot of people joke and say oh, my dog's so high, but really it's because they have a very anxious dog and they finally relax.
I gotcha.
But I also, the cool thing about CBDs and and pets is I've seen a lot of people personally become believers simply because they gave their elderly dog a CBD treat and they noticed that their dog could jump up on their bed again, or they could notice that their dog was getting off the couch easier, or their temperament was better. And when it comes to CBD in animals, it's phenomenal. It's anti-inflammatory purposes. And a lot of times elderly dogs are having joint issues and it's an inflammation issue.
Right.
That comes with age. And so a simple dog treat will just improve their quality of life. I mean, that's what Yogastey's mission is. We're just trying to improve quality of life. At the end of the day, what do we want? We just want to be healthy and happy, you know?
Quality. Well, and it's, I mean, let me know if you agree or not, but most diseases or pain is inflammation. Like whether it's coming from your gut because you've eaten gluten or dairy or that your body doesn't, or if you've actually injured something, it's all of it's inflammation. So I'm sure CBD, if it's getting to inflammation on whatever level, it's supporting your health in some way.
Yes, I 100% agree. And you'll have people who are like, well, what am I going to feel like? They're nervous because, like you said, there's such a negative taboo because we haven't been given the ability to research or learn about these things until like 6 or 7 years ago. Right. So it's all very new. And a lot of ailments come from inflammation. And you'll have people they're like, I didn't really feel anything except for like the euphoric relief of not being in pain. Right. That's what they realize. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm you know, my knees don't hurt anymore. Right. And like you said, a lot of it, even with skin disorders, it's an inflammatory disorder. You have eczema, psoriasis, and rosacea. It's all an internal inflammation issue. Right. And so why not consume a natural anti-inflammatory to help remedy it, you know?
And I will say on that level, though, it's still like popping a pill on any level, right? You still have to take ownership because if you're still feeding yourself crap food and sugar, and even taking CBD is not going to override you not treating yourself well. So everyone, it comes hand in hand.
Yes.
Look after yourself first and then have CBD to support that, right?
Be accountable. Yes. Yeah. And like I said, I think I said it earlier, the more in tune you are to your body, the more you know what you have to do to eliminate. If you don't like taking ibuprofen and Tylenol, then my first recommendation, even before CBD, and I love CBD, is drink more water. Yeah. How much water are you drinking? And then they're like, oh, I drink water all day. And I was like, all right, well, how many beverages are you drinking that counteract? How many cups of coffee and how many sodas and alcoholic beverages are you drinking? We all indulge, but if you're drinking just as much as you are your water, it cancels out.
Right, exactly.
You know,
you're not getting ahead.
No, your body's your temple. Treat it. You know, the last thing I want to be is that mom who can't ride a bike with their kid, you know, and then you're a mom too. So hopefully someday, if it's in our cards, we might have grandkids someday. And I still want to be riding bikes with my grandkids.
Right. Well, and that too, like I want quality of life throughout my life. Like when I get to 90, I'm going to be walking my dog down the street. Like, you know, for me, for my health and vibrancy and movement, like I am all about doing it now while we still can and being proactive as well. Right.
Right. And I know it's possible because I see people all the time. There are inspirational people I look up to who are in their 70s or 80s and they're on the ski hill and they're doing better than me. And my jaw's on the ground like, I got to improve. I want to be you. You inspired me. And as long as I feel like we're open and we listen, I mean, there's so much to be learned from people who've lived more and who've lived longer than us.
Right.
They're vessels.
And that's like our human experience though, right? Like to constantly keep learning, to like learn to listen to your body more, and it will evolve. Of course, you and I have both experienced that through like pregnancy and having a kid, and I'm like, what is this new body that I have? But it's like listening and seeing that as the beautiful thing, in that we're all unique and different, and you've got to listen to you because no one else can listen to you the way you can, right?
No, right. Well, and then you go even further into, and I know that men struggle with this too, but there's been a lot of research on how women when you go to a doctor, sometimes you're not taken seriously. You say that you have pain, or you tell them what's going on, and you sometimes aren't being listened to.
Right.
So if you're not going to listen to yourself, then we really can't expect anyone else to listen to us.
Right, exactly. And that piece of just knowing what's going on inside of you, right? It's the Western medicine doctors are, I mean, I talk about this a lot. They are taught a certain worldview and to treat us with certain tools and in certain methods. But that's the stepping back and being like, is this serving my body to the best? Or is maybe a more natural option that's coming from a plant into a local person and then put into a salve with high quality essential oils? Maybe that feels just more holistic and natural and to my body, right? It's like activating brain and being like, wait, what feels good here, you know?
Right. Well, and there's just as much research on the holistic end as there is on the Western medicine end. It's been around longer.
Right.
So, I mean, you can't overlook it. And I'm not naysaying Western medicine by any means. Like, obviously there's things that CBD is not going to mend a broken bone.
Right.
But it is going, I guess where I'm going is 2020 opened my eyes to how many people were so worried about them getting sick. And I found myself having a really peaceful mindset because I was so in tune to my body. I never once worried. Every time I got the sniffles or any time that I was starting to feel under the weather, I was never worried that I had COVID. I knew exactly what was wrong. I knew that, oh, I just came off of working 2 weeks straight and I'm stressed and I overworked myself. I need to take a day.
Yes, exactly.
That peace of mind is priceless.
Yeah, for sure. And like taking the daily actions to support your immunity and support your health, that even if you do get something, you know, you've like armed your body as best you can to attack it for you. Right? Like,
and having that mental state of mind too. I don't think people realize how much power is in having a positive mindset.
Right.
Telling yourself, I'm going to get better. I did. Like you said, I armed my body with everything I needed to do. Now I just need to sit back and let it do its thing.
Right.
And it normally does. Like my spouse laughs at me sometimes because I'll get like a head cold and it'll be bad. You know, I only get one about once a year.
Right.
And I've been like, I'll be fine in 3 days. And he just kind of like scoffs like, and by the 3rd day, I'm like, I told you I was going to be fine in 3 days. I needed to let it run its course. I needed to take care of myself, let myself heal, and I'm good as new.
It's that empowerment piece though, where we know to like building the trust with yourself that you are treating your body right and not like outsourcing your power to other people, to doctors, to whoever, to trust them to give you the solution to your body. Right. So I feel like we could talk about that all day.
I agree.
So Anna, where do we find you? You do have a brick and mortar store? Is that right? I mean, obviously 2020 was not ideal for any brick and mortar stores, but.
Right. So you can find my line at Amsterdam Coffee Club, which is located on Trent.
Okay.
K Organic Salon carries some of my products here in Spokane.
Awesome.
And she's Kristen. She's absolutely phenomenal. She was the first salon that brought in my products. She also was the first person that really opened my eyes to just holistic healing in the sense sound baths and meditation and all of those things that I'm not well versed on, and I still need a lot to learn about, that are very intriguing and really go hand in hand in the accountability aspect of taking care of yourself and just finding alternative healing methods. And then, of course, my online store, and I ship to every state. So even if your state does not legally sell CBD, it does not mean that you cannot consume CBD. It just means it can't be purchased or sold within that state.
I see. Okay.
And I think there's only one, and I think it's Wyoming, because Idaho just changed their law in August of 2020.
Oh, wow. Okay. That recently.
Yeah. So, but I ship to all states. I have a guy in North Carolina that buys monthly. I ship to California, and all that fun stuff. And then if you're in the more southern, in the state of Washington, Clarkston, Washington, that's about 2 hours away. I'm in 2 stores down there too.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect. And I mean, online, of course, nowadays puts it at everybody's fingertips, right? Which is
Right.
perfect.
And a lot of people don't really want to unnecessarily leave and go places anyways. So
yeah, especially right now.
exactly.
And your website is yogastey.com?
It's yogasteycbd.com.
That's right. Okay. And you're on Facebook and Instagram as well?
Instagram. Yes.
Okay. Perfect.
Yes. And so like this month, just because it's January and, you know, everyone always has their resolutions and goals. I do have 20% off any order over $50.
Okay.
Nice. And then every month there'll be new incentives and new products. I'm really excited for February, just for the launch of our tinctures.
Yeah.
And then, also there's a way on that web page you can sign up for a newsletter, which is a really great way, because anytime that I do a newsletter or I advertise a sale, it usually goes out via email or on social media.
Okay, perfect. I have seen a lot of those come through.
Yay, good.
I don't know. Do you sleep? How do you get all of this done?
I sleep. You only need so many hours, right, of sleep and all that fun stuff.
You mean business. I like it.
Thank you.
So, I mean, you mentioned a few people there, but I always like to end with just in this region, locally, who are some other people that inspire you to vibrantly live your life?
Gail Hendricks, she's one of the owners of Sativa Sisters.
Okay.
And she inspires me a lot, because their main mission with opening one of the first cannabis shops in Spokane, Washington, was really to provide a safe spot for anyone and everyone to go and ask the questions that they wanted to ask in regards to their health and consumption of CBD products and marijuana products. Their main mission is to educate their staff. A large chunk of them are medically certified.
Okay. Fabulous.
And she also suffers from her own personal ailments. So that's really what has driven this journey for her.
Right.
And plus, I just love anyone that's full of knowledge. Like,
right.
sit me down with you and I will suck you dry and I will absorb all of it in regards to everything, gardening, cooking, cleaning. I want to learn.
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't agree more. Passionate about everything, right? It's like, what else can I take in? I love it all. You had mentioned also the local fest organizer before we started to record, but I loved what you were saying about her.
She inspired, and I am drawing a blank on her name, but she inspired me through 2020 in the sense of, if there's a will, there's a way. I feel like our voice was really taken away in 2020 with COVID, and I don't think it was like a malicious thing. It's just a lot of local entrepreneurs and a local small business owners, our platform was taken away, and she went to bat for us. She visited every market. She threw together the local fest market at State Line, which was absolutely phenomenal. It was so amazing seeing so many people come together. And not only did we come together, but she gave us she didn't charge us an arm and a leg to participate. She's like, I just need to cover costs. I'm doing this for you. And just seeing her drive and her motivation for people that she didn't even know, I was like, I can do anything. I don't care the global pandemic. I will participate in any event available. And even still, I get emails of markets she's putting together. Everyone in the farmers market industry here in Spokane, Washington has really inspired me. They did not take no as an option, and they went above and beyond for all of us. So.
I love it so much, because you mentioned that what farmers markets do you go over? So once the spring rolls around and farmers market season is back in action, my favorite time of year, where can we find you then in person? Where do people get to come and meet you?
So my main market is Millwood Market.
Okay.
It's in the Millwood Park. That's right beside their fire department off of Argonne.
Okay.
It's a very small market, but it's so wonderful. It's just small and quaint, and it's growing. And the area that we have moved to last year is our first year in the new park. There's so much room for vendors to participate.
Nice.
And that's on Wednesdays. And then I do believe this year I'm going to try and get into the Perry District Market on Thursdays, their Thursday night market.
I've heard good things about that one too.
Yes, super fun. And it's like 2 blocks from my house. It'd be very convenient.
Perfect.
Be able to pack up and go home.
Nice.
And then of course, anything that Local Fest, I plan on any festivals that are happening locally, I plan on participating in. So, and they're so good. Like I said, keeping us all in the loop. The email chain is strong. So
I love it all. This was so fun and so nice to actually meet you. I know we chatted for a second at the farmers market, but I'm sure markets, you're like, see so many people that it's a blur.
I do. And it's so funny. I'm usually always like, oh, that person looks so familiar. And then it's like halfway through chatting, there's like a light bulb that goes off and I'm like, oh, it's you. And I can ramble off every intimate detail you told me of why you're buying the product. It takes a split second for me to remember.
Which is impressive. Awesome. Well, do you have any did I miss any questions that I should have asked you before we wrap up? No.
I think it went great.
I think you covered a ton of awesome information that even for myself, knowing CBD, I'm like, okay, I can see that it's trendy, but I know that there's something behind it and I need to learn more. Again, because I'm obviously like you, I'm like, teach me so that I can feel confident in what I'm doing for my body. So
yay.
And supporting local. You're a neighbor in Spokane.
I am. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You gave me a voice and I so appreciate it.
Oh, my absolute pleasure. I appreciate you for joining me.
Thank you.